The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Chit Show. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, Bruce, and thank you for joining me, Ruben. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
Good. We'd like to give our condolences to our good friend Orange Hat, who has other things that he's involved with in his life and cannot partake with us tonight. Mm-hmm. We hope that the struggles he is currently going through do resolve themselves, and at some point he can come back and give at least a friendly hello. We do miss you, sir, and your opinions. Yeah, we did like him when he shared them here. Not everybody agreed with him, and that's perfectly fine. You're not supposed to be in an echo chamber. Think for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, now that you said that, it made me want to go get something real quick from my X account.
I have some things to share.
Well, I want to share something about someone I recently, we just lost on my one of my friends.
Let me finish getting this brush exhausted on this.
Yeah, let me.
I'll go and grab the Boston glass, and I will pour out a one for our homies.
I just want to talk about this person. This was a friend of mine that I made. It was one of the very first spaces I ever went in on X, back when spaces first started, and we called him Haas. He was a wonderful, sweet, kind, and caring person, and he passed away the other day. And he'd been having health problems and stuff, but it doesn't make it any easier. It's just really hard when you think about it. And I posted this to him, and I said, goodbyes are not forever or not the end. It simply means I'll miss you until we meet again. And I just wanted to share that because he was a wonderful person. And I've lost quite a few friends, it seems like, in the last couple of months.
Yeah, this is a phase of our lives. It's I don't know, at least for all three of us, it's I would say the third phase of our lives. We have childhood, adulthood, and you have we're in our mature state.
Sure.
Then there's the elderly state. I say number 4. People say that, but that's the thing is when you have somebody that's close to you that's passed away, and like myself, before we even started, talk about my parents passing away, unfortunately, and it hurt because again, my father and mother, my mother was 72, very, very young. When you have your great grandmother, my great grandmother lived to 104. My grandparents were in their 80s, late 80s, 90s. Then my parents, my father made it to 80, and my mother made it to 72. And it's like, what? No. Now we're going to do that. We have to change things around. It all goes to the shit show we're living in now, and all the healthcare issues that are going on. You know, they're like Trump announced that going after autism and stuff, trying to figure out there. But yeah, when you lose somebody that's close to you, it hurts. But you know, you have to keep them in your memory, and you know and move on and keep
Honor
that memory
them,
going forward.
love their
Yeah.
memory, honor them on a daily basis if you
Yeah.
can. You
Hmm.
know, the worst one that ever happened to me was I lost a coworker. It wasn't like just a regular like 8 to 5 job. It was an oil field job, and guy was really kind of important for all of our situations. He was a line boss for a while. He got in the backside, and he was backside management, and then he became an SSIT, which was a supervisory staff and training.
Hmm.
And the guy was there for every fucking evolution for the JSAs at the start and at the start of any new endeavor. He was the guy that they always looked to have him take care of it. And then for any barbecue or for anything that was extracurricular activities, even involving ordering hookers, the guy was always there for that too. Because
Yeah.
you're part of that. It's the oil field. Welcome to the fucking oil field. You're a man. You're on a vacation when you go into the oil field for your 2 weeks on, and you're away from your wife. You go cheat, do whatever you do. And that was like that was the culture of it. So just
I've witnessed that culture, especially in Calgary, in Canada. My God, it's crazy.
so
I did IT in the oil fields up there. It's crazy.
and like there was other things that were involved with this guy too. Like he never passed up booger sugar. He was always into the coke. But
Yeah.
one day they were driving and they hit another vehicle,
Oh no.
and he wasn't bolted into his seat. He was laying down on the back seat of the van, and he bounced around like a pinball everywhere inside the van, and he didn't come out in the same piece. He came
Jeez.
out different.
Yeah.
And like, the guys that were with him, they were kind of fucked up. A few of them were, 3 of the 5 were injured severely.
Damn.
2 of them died.
Fuck.
But after that, Raul, at the start of every endeavor, like we had to do new things. We had new stuff to do. Like there was an extra 5 minutes on every fucking job we had to do because we had to do a fucking safety pre-check and shit. And Raul always took care of it, and so his absence made our job a little bit more extra. So like whenever you have things like that, like when you have a constant like reliance, like you got a guy next to you, and you're relying on this person to be there with you every step of the way, for you to get paid, for you to make sure your family's got a house to live under. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things, and so when you have somebody like what Janet has, where you're bouncing ideas off them, you're trading ideas every day and such, it's not quite the same as going to work with somebody. But when you go to work with somebody and then like suddenly they're just not there anymore, and you can't call them up, you can't say like, "Hey, how's the new job? How's Baker Hughes treating you? Hey, is your psycho ex-wife still fucking trying to stab you in the kidney, or shit like that?" Like this, the absence, and it's not even like the peaceable grace of thought where you can just have a prayer and be like, God, keep him safe. And like for some odd reason, just doing stupid, silly religious or spiritual things like that calms your nerves a little bit.
Hmm.
But it's the physical anxiety you get before you can transfer into that mode of like, no, I have to think about him because all I can do is visit him in memory, or I can hope that there is an afterlife that he's a part of that I can go join later. Not soon, not soon, at my prescribed time, whenever that may be. And I don't need to prescribe it to God. God's got the plan, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But
Hmm.
the thing is that, like, when it's done in a fashion to where it's just sudden, there's no preparation, there's no real closure. It just,
Yeah.
it feels like the daggers in your rib cage a little harder.
Right.
And
Hmm.
from what
Especially when it's sudden too.
But
When
you know
it's
what's
fast,
funny?
something you weren't, they weren't sick for a long time, that type of thing. But it makes it harder too, I think.
Yeah.
Go
so I
ahead.
guess, so I guess maybe I hope that your friend is enjoying the enduring peace and grace of what the afterlife can provide.
Hmm.
And I
It's
hope
the
that,
people that are left behind. They're the ones that suffer, like his wife and his family.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Those are the ones
kids,
that are the ones that are going to need
they
the
have
most
kids.
hugs and cares.
How many kids did he
Caring.
have?
I don't know how many kids he had.
Oh,
I never did ask him those type of things. We talked about sports and
gotcha.
politics and homesteading, mowing the yard,
Yeah,
hunting, all that kind of stuff.
right.
So,
Yeah, but the most important thing here, what's he got here?
but I got a couple things
Cats
that
and
I'm
dogs.
going to.
Go ahead.
Oh, I like it.
This
Cats
this is
and
this was
ducks.
the
His
pre-peanut
favorite cats and ducks. Yeah,
because the fuckers in Ohio were barbecuing cats.
they're eating the cats. They're eating the
They're eating the
dogs.
cats. They're eating the dogs.
Yeah. So, but the reason I wanted to bring that up is because here in a little bit I'm going to play some stuff that we talked about a little bit and his fears with the medical industry and stuff after everything that's happened. But this is the first thing I wanted to start off with tonight. Is those two things I wanted to share about Trump
Right.
because he's getting so much flack because of this tariffs and things like that. So I wanted to share this with you guys.
I love the tariffs. By
That
the way.
whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots.
Yeah.
We all enjoy the same glorious freedoms, and we all salute the same great American flag. And whether a child is born in the urban sprawl of Detroit or the windswept plains of Nebraska, they look up at the same night sky, they fill their heart with the same dreams, and they are infused with the breath of life by the same almighty creator. So to all Americans in every city near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words. You will never be ignored again. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. And your courage and goodness and love will forever guide us along the way.
Pretty good. You guys remember that speech the first time he was in office?
No, I don't. I don't remember
It
that.
was when he was inaugurated. That's why you
Sure.
saw Hillary and you saw Obama the
Barry
first time.
Soetoro.
Yeah, but did you see how their reaction of him, everything he said? It's just like watching him a couple weeks ago when he gave that a speech, right? And you saw them all just sitting there kind of like they couldn't give a crap about a kid that could have died from cancer and he's been still alive. And then the families whose families were people, their loved ones were shot and killed, and they just kind of sat there and, they don't respect anyone. They don't stand up for anything unless it's opposite of what we need for our country. They don't have any patriotism at all. So it's really said, oh, Ruben dropped. I'll
See
have to
that?
bring him
He's
back.
going to be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. But here's the other thing I thought was I wanted to share before we started digging in. So let me get it real quick. Oh, darn it, there it is. Yeah, I love this. This is in the White House. There was a picture on the wall, and it was Obama, and they replaced it with this iconic picture. Look at this. See this? Fight, fight, fight. And this is hanging up. This is what used to be there. This is it. Look.
It's much improved. Much improved.
Yep. It's awesome, though.
Mr.
What
Davis,
a
good evening.
photo. This is...
That's a
This
painting,
is
isn't
going to
it?
go in. Yeah, it's a painting. But I mean, remember when I think I know who painted this. I think I've had him on the show a few times, and he's really colorful speech. He says the F word a lot. I'll show you one of his videos again, but I think he's the one that probably donated it to him. But the thing is, this will be in history books. It should be. This was a person who they didn't want in office. They still don't want him here, but they set up to kill him, to get rid of him. And so that's why this is an iconic photograph. But
I think it's great.
It's a painting in the White House now.
I think that's what won the fucking White House for him. Getting shot.
Well, no, I don't think it was just that. All the lawfare leading up to that, remember? The felon, you know, he's running as a felon.
Yeah.
All that,
but all that was building up to it. And once
they wanted him dead.
Yeah, they still do. But the thing is, that I think is the cement being poured over, and we're never again going to be able to undo this. We're pouring a cement slab over this decision. Trump will be our next president because they hate him so much. He's going to upset the proletariat. He's going to upset the corrupt faggots in Washington, D.C. He's going to completely screw over the Baal and Moloch priests that are advocating for the twisting and destroying of the mutilating of kids' bodies. He's all up for that. And that's why they want him dead. He's going to completely get rid of the power that the elite ruling class has. He's going to make sure we don't become globalists in the next 4 to 6 years.
Right, which is on the track. Everything has gone too far already. All of the government overreach. Mm-hmm. I remember Bill Clinton saying the era of big government's over, and then that changed with Obama. It's all fucking bullshit.
But the thing was that Bill Clinton actually had his feet held to the fire, and he lost so bad in '94.
Yeah,
he got his ass shellacked in '94. And that was because of Newt, and that was because of Limbaugh. Right. And because of that, he actually started kind of like the government employees kind of did drop down a little bit. And they did have to fix themselves.
Again, you were right. That was in '94. It was the power of the new media, be it Limbaugh, be all of the new media, which was the same thing as Elon now and then Twitter and all of Rogan and stuff. That's why Trump won in 2024. But in 2026, that is the anticipation or the conventional wisdom is that Trump's going to lose seats. But if he does continue to do what he's doing, he's actually gained seats. Even though every time the media is saying things are going bad, I hear it now going, "Oh, economy's bad now." Bullshit. Of course, it's been bad. It's been bad for the last 4 years. All your bullshit. We're trying to fix it right now. But
they're saying Trump the price of eggs was going to get better.
Did you hear what Whoopi said? Whoopi says, you should all start, paying your taxes so that the government. It's like the mentality here. They're just like, it truly is. How'd you say it? I have come to a realization, and it is a very scary one. It's like the dead internet theory. Everything's a fake. The people, it's a real Squid Game. The people that forces it in control, and the people who are in control, it's the people we know, the World Bank, everything like that. They figure it out. They do it. And again, if you really want to be rich, you can do it. It's very easy. It's you manipulate everything, or what they're going to do. Like if a song's coming out next week from some person, like the whole West Coast, East Coast, the whole hip hop, Tupac Shakur, all that bullshit that happened, all those killing that happened, all of that was set up by the CIA. The CIA handpicked these guys to be rappers on each side so that they could divide the black community up. They did it on purpose. It's all done on purpose to break up the family, to have social workers tell black mothers, kick your boyfriends out so you get more money and have more kids, to create that class of people. They want you to be just, dead and inside. It's crazy. What's this? Oh, shit.
So you can get 60 eggs at Texas's most revered grocery store. Lower,
HEB.
yeah, HEB. Their lower quality name brand Hill Country Fare, which is the same quality as their regular HEB brand or the
Right.
meat tienda. This, they're large grade A eggs, so they're not like double A or jumbos, but they're large
Great
eggs.
day. Okay.
You get
5
60 of them,
dozen. We're talking
five
about.
dozen,
Hmm.
33 cents an egg. That's
Yep,
the
that's pretty
cheapest
good.
price for an egg I've seen yet. And I think this competes well with Costco and Sam's. If you don't want that, I mean, they do have other eggs available. They got double A size, 30 of them for $11.99,
Jesus Christ.
40 cents. But the price of eggs has gone down. Don't listen to these doomcasters talking about the price of eggs because the
I
eggs
know.
have fallen
What
in
I'm saying
price in the
is
last 90
they're
days.
grasping at straws,
Okay.
basically. You
Segue,
know,
Bruce. I have to ask this question. It's burning my brain. Segue question.
yeah.
In or out or Whataburger?
Are you serious?
I have to
Even,
ask.
even with Whataburger being sold to a Chicago bank, even with that, Whataburger every day, all day. I would
Okay.
not eat In and Out in Texas if you paid me triple the amount that it would cost, or even quintuple the amount it would cost. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't eat In and Out. You couldn't pay me enough to
You
put
know,
that in my
but I tell you a story. It happened really briefly. Really happened. The reason I bring
head.
it up is because they Jeremy and the Geeks Game were talking about it.
Yeah, I
But for
know
me,
those guys.
but
Jeremy's
for me,
also he's an idiot.
yes. But here's the thing. I Whataburger, yes, I agree. I agree. In and Out, but no. But my brother loves In and Out because he went Marine Corps and he was out in California for years. He loved
In
it.
California, they have the choice of the best cows and cattle to pick from because it's a California
Uh
brand. So
okay,
they get the choice of best beef.
okay,
And the
okay.
thing is that In N Out Burger does not freeze their beef. They're like Wendy's in that aspect.
Hmm.
But when they moved, they came to Texas, and Texas has got cattle contracts with HEB and Whataburger and the other big Texas brands, but those are the big two.
Right.
And In-N-Out's like, hey, we want some really good beef, blah, 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 blah. And they get garbage tier beef.
So here's a question for you. So then, if you're saying, do you say how would you rank Whataburger in Texas versus a In and Out in California?
I'd still go with Whataburger because I
Yes. So
think their spice selection is superior.
yeah.
Now, In-N-Out does a couple things differently.
Sorry,
One,
Chad.
they never
I like
put
complimenting
bacon
you.
on a burger.
Uh huh.
And then they have a thing called animal fries where they drench your
Yeah,
potatoes
yeah,
in Catalina sauce.
yeah.
Both of those are heinous crimes and should never be spent money on. You should never waste your money. Just instead go to Starbucks and let somebody fuck up your name and get the most bitter coffee you could ever try to piss out later.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you guys are lucky because you know what? Since I was diagnosed with being allergic to gluten, I haven't had a hamburger.
You should. They're gluten free. It's the bun you got to worry about.
That's what I'm talking about.
You could go to Whataburger and get a gluten free burger. They'll wrap your burger in the
Yeah,
lettuce.
you can get an unwrapped burger. My father did that when he had his heart attack. They had the unwrapped water burgers, so we got those for him
Here you go.
without the bread.
Yep.
Here's somebody from the audience that's letting you know their point of
Okay,
view.
good.
Yeah, they use
Yeah,
their own
no, yeah,
spices.
because it was no, because what was so funny is that my brother, we were driving down to the funeral. This is a few years ago, and he said we have to go to In and Out. We have to go to In and Out. We have to do this. And I said, okay, fine. We went there first. There was like a line to go into this place, and I'm going, okay,
Was it
fine.
new? Was it new?
It was new. It was a new store.
Okay, well that's why.
But
You're always going to have a line if
but
it's a
but it
brand new place.
it wasn't a grand opening. It was a
Oh,
newer store. But what's so funny is that it was about 10 people there. Whatever. Fuck, I don't give a shit. I had the burger. It was good. It wasn't great. Five Guys is much better. Whataburger is off a chain, whatever. But the point was, again,
yeah,
I
I like
know Bruce, you're
Whataburger.
in San Antonio, but yeah. Well, so what's going on here? What's this? What you got pulled up?
Okay, earlier I was talking about I lost one of my friends,
Yeah.
and I've been hearing more and more stories because I've lost 7 people in the last couple months that I've known, either online or from X or from Instagram or TikTok or one of my other apps, YouTube friend, or a person in person, that I know that, and almost all of them have started having heart problems or
Oh,
stuff like that.
so
So
are we saying something?
this is something that I wanted to share because someone sent it to me, and it's talking about this physician. It's talking about different people who had multiple organ failures, stuff like that.
Fuck.
So I want to share this little. It's almost 10 minutes, but it's pretty interesting. Just listen to this.
A Johns Hopkins trained physician walked into the Mayo Clinic one night, the emergency department, because he had some known problem that he self-diagnosed. It's very common. It wasn't a big deal. Healthy guy in his 40s. And they said, well, why don't you stay overnight and we'll, work you up tomorrow, then you can drive back home, because he was a far distance from home. Within 24 hours, he was in multiple organ failure, and the doctors had no idea what was happening. The next week, his heart was removed, put on a machine, and 3 or 4 months later, he died, a horrific death. And it was traced back. This went through multi-district litigation along with hundreds of other cases. It was contaminated blood thinner. The API was made in China. It was a highly sophisticated fake substitute for the real active ingredient. And at high levels, it could cause death. So the implications of poorly performing drugs, things that are not made properly, is profound. And by the way, this process by which this fake substitute was made, the Chinese government patented it. And it also flew under the radar of testing. So another point, testing can get us only so far. Eventually, we have to have our medicines made by people who are trustworthy, ethical,
Yeah, fuck that shit.
and in places where the FDA can do its job and protect the public. And by the way, it was President Kennedy that...
Well, before we go any farther, how many times have you heard me say on this show since we started, we need to be self-sustainable in our country?
That's the one thing. Yeah,
we should be able to make our own medicine, our own food,
right.
Raise our own cattle, make all the things we need to build buildings, our own vehicles, electronics, all these things. Yeah. We should be able to sustain ourselves. Let's say that Russia says, fuck you, America, and China says, fuck you, America, and we can't get their products anymore. Right. What happens to all the people that can't get their medicine? What happens to all the people that can't get the supplies they need to run their business? Right. See, because we're so needing of these other countries, and everything that Trump's doing right now with this tariffs to push it to where it's balanced, where we're paying the same prices they're paying when they bring something into our country, is going to level the playing field. And if they want to play with our money, us buying their products, then they're going to say, well, I guess we're going to have to stop charging all these tariffs. Many times I've talked about people that buy a pack of cigarettes, of Marlboro cigarettes. I don't smoke, but I don't have a problem with people that smoke if they can buy their own cigarettes in their legal age. Mm-hmm. In Norway, a pack of cigarettes would cost you like $15 or $20, depending on
$15 here.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, this was years ago, though. I was saying this way back when we first started, before the price of cigarettes had gotten so expensive, because the tariffs were so high on American products. People don't buy American over there because it's too expensive.
Right.
So,
which I think is kind of funny, because cigarettes are by and large, cigarettes are a American thing. Mm-hmm. Like you have Camels, which are Turkish cigarettes, but that's the most popular brand of non-American cigarettes that I know of. Mm-hmm. Cigarettes are largely an American cash crop, or used to be.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to. This is one reason why I really wanted to play this. Not just the fact that they don't have the same standards as we do, but we have so many people sucking dick of China that work in our government that they're letting bad products come here unchecked
Right.
because their big corporations are having their products made over there and then shipped over here because it's cheaper when you only have to pay someone $1 an hour than paying them,
Yeah,
$18.
because you have to remember the way things are done, especially
Yeah.
in the
So
manufacturing aspect of it.
that was one reason why I decided I wanted to play this, but I still think it's very important that people are aware of when you're making an appointment to get surgery or certain things done, to ask them, well, where does this stuff come from? Where's my stitches coming from? What mask are they going to use on me? What kind of stuff they're going to put you to sleep with? I can't remember what you call that. But the oxygen tanks. I mean, all the tubing they're going to use, everything. I bet most of it comes from China. And that's a scary thought when you think about it, especially with something when they're going to cut you open and do stuff to the inside of your body, and you have no idea what they're going to do to you or what they're using on you and where it came from, or what chemicals might be on it. Just like that video that I showed a while back of these kids in India on the floor of a dirt floor, and none of them are wearing gloves or anything, and they're taking those long sticks and putting them in plastic things that you're supposed to shove up your nose next to your brain. Remember, I showed all that stuff. It's ridiculous. I don't trust any doctors. I mean, I have 3 doctors for my allergies and other things, and that's it. I used to drive back and forth from Arkansas, Louisiana, so I could keep my doctors because the chaos that was going on. I was like, I don't trust anybody. So.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that should be happening. We should get back to more of a country style doctorish type of thing.
Yeah, like Trump said about the veterans. Veterans shouldn't have to drive 3 hours one way to go to see a doctor when they should be able to go right down the street and see whatever local doctor there is. And
I mean, if you live like I do, if you live in the world's largest military city, which is San Antonio, it's one thing. I got paid 83 cents for my per diem to go to a place.
Yeah.
Because there's the gas expenditure in a fucking Honda. It didn't really matter what it was. It would still be 83 cents. But still, they at least pay you for your trip about 60 days later. You can expect that check in the mail.
That's better than nothing. Right now,
exactly. That's the thing.
People to these appointments because they're so far, and these people are older or not in good health. That's why they're going to the doctor, the VA. But here, let me finish this video.
Signed these amendments to the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act that laid out the legal framework for the FDA to have standards of pure. What are the standards? They have to be pure. Mm-hmm. You can't have contaminants in them. They have to work. And is the dose the right amount of, is it really in that pill? So this is a matter of our law. Mm-hmm. And as that was in the 1960s, and now as we've gone global, that's all blown up. And I don't think we can blame the FDA to try to manage an enormous global supply chain. We have generic drugs being made in South Africa, and as we know, India, China, everywhere. It's an impossible task. So we've got to find a better way to manage it, but I do think we have a place to start in how we purchase these drugs. And to hold these companies accountable, not just for making them accountable for quality and not hiding behind the FDA.
Let's talk about this blood thinner for a moment. What was the motivation? Do we have any inkling of the motivation of inserting this fake component into the system?
Yeah, there was a shortage of the real raw material. It comes from pigs, and China has a lot of pigs, and there was a disease outbreak among the pig population. So they couldn't produce enough product to meet market demand. And so they came up with this fake substitute. Now, if you're a legitimate company, what you do is you tell the FDA what you're doing. And the FDA will ask you, well, how do you know it's safe? It has to be tested before you can just sell it and put it in a finished drug. So this was in response to a shortage of the real material. But that's not the way to handle it by any stretch.
And when you say sophisticated, what do you mean by it was a sophisticated action?
It matched so clearly. If you tested the fake substitute using the testing methods at the time, it wouldn't have picked up the fact that this was in there. It wouldn't have read it. And so it was unknown. It was so out of the ordinary that those test methods would not pick it up. And if it was good enough for the Chinese government to patent it, they clearly wanted to do something with it. It was important to them. This was not some rogue operators in a facility somewhere.
But do they think they might have thought it worked?
It's hard to know what was the mindset there. They were enterprising minds, and it's good to have enterprising minds, but you want it put into a purpose that serves humanity.
And again, this is a situation where only some portion of that supply had this adulterated.
That's right. There were varying levels of it put into the finished drug. So some batches of the finished drug had higher levels than others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to pinpoint.
The Chinese Communist Party is waging, in its own words, a people's war against America. And, given that, anywhere between 80 to 98% of these components of medicines are from China and at the moment have to be gotten there, it just strikes me as a very powerful potential vector of attack, right? In a situation where, if you put something bad into a small piece of the supply, it would take a very long time for anyone to even figure out that an attack had happened.
That's exactly right. Look what's happening with illegal fentanyl. It's playing around with the chemicals. Illegal prescription drugs with fentanyl in them. So well done, the fakes, that it's really hard to detect. And what I'm concerned about is that we're going to see a convergence of the illegal market and the legal supply chain and production of medicines coming from China.
What does that mean?
And you're right.
Convergence.
That those practices that are done in the illegal market that are killing people, what's to stop enterprising minds in a very negative way that want to take down America to put some debilitating chemicals into 2% or 5% of the most widely prescribed generic drugs in the United States?
Well,
Okay, I want to stop for a second again. Remember years ago, I don't know, it was quite a while back, that a bunch of people were dying. They had bought Tylenol.
Right.
In different stores, not at the same one. And they were dying, and it had cyanide in it. This person had opened the bottle, opened the cyanide pill or the Tylenols, and put cyanide in. And after they finally captured the person, it took them a while. I think 6 people died.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. That was a big scare back in the early 80s.
What they found out was they found it through the lot numbers or something, because someone had taken bottles off of one shelf in one store. They took them home. They doctored the pills, and then they went back to multiple stores and put them on the shelves. And the reason they did that is because they wanted to kill one specific person, but they didn't want to be blamed for it. So this way, they wanted, there was a woman supposedly that was trying to kill, that killed her husband. But so she killed multiple people and made it, thought that made me get sick or whatever said she didn't realize it. But the thing is, they went around and people died because they had a headache and they took 2 Tylenol, or one of them would take 1 because it was, we didn't know. It was whatever the luck of the draw, whatever fell out of your container, right? But the fact that could happen, and that's when they started putting the plastic seal. Remember, they started putting the plastic seal on it after that to protect the consumers. This was back when I thought the people that are in charge of making sure that we're safe really cared about whether we were safe. But apparently, listening to this, these people are letting all this shit just. They're not testing stuff. They're not scrutinizing it like they used to. You know what I mean? So we need a lot of people looking into some of this stuff to make sure that we're safe. I mean, see, I'm lucky. I'm getting allergy shots every 2 weeks now. Okay. But my medicine that they inject in my arms is all the things I'm allergic to. But guess who makes it?
Well, here's the
All
thing.
big
What's going to
pharma.
happen?
It
I have
comes
a,
from
I have a
my
prediction.
doctor's office. They make it for me, and because they have individual patients, and they take the ingredients, like certain things that I'm allergic to, and they mix it together, and they make a serum, and they make it stronger each time, each thing that they make for me. So, but I trust these people because I've been seeing them for many, many years. But why would I want to have an EpiPen or a nasal spray or eye drops or any of these things when I have no idea what's in it? And
What
if it
I
comes from a country that hates us and wants us dead.
Yeah. I have a prediction per se. What I think is going to happen is that sometime within the next 6 months, Trump is going to order a national emergency, and we're going to start to build manufacturing facilities here for drugs, for things
That'd
we
be
need.
great. That would be so fucking
Remember when,
cool.
remember when the My Pillow guy
Yeah.
closed down his thing to make pillows and started
Right.
making masks
Yeah.
and gowns and things like that?
Right. Right.
So
But what's
there's
so
people
funny is
who do that
the
stuff.
fact that it's the tweet, not to, it's like it's a trifecta. The fact that we should be the leaders of AI, we should be the leaders of military and science and advancement, and we
Actually,
should
you are
be.
leading on AI. Have you been doing any tests lately?
Excuse me.
Have you done any tests with Grok versus Chat GPT?
Yeah, yeah, those two. But also Claude and DeepSeek and all, and
Stuff
then
like that.
I've done
No,
all. I've done.
I won't even use DeepSeek until they make an announcement like, "Hey, we fixed the code," because DeepSeek just completely misinterpreted anything I wanted.
Yeah,
And
but DeepSeek is good for if you not the app, but if you build your own computer and run it there, you can manipulate it quicker than any of the other ones, so it works really well. But the thing is that we'll be the full leaders. So if we do AI research, get that built up, if we build up manufacturing, and then we build up all of the infrastructure that we need, energy, the medication. Fuck, get nuclear power up and running again here. Fuck.
I love nuclear power to be up and running. You know what I hate seeing? I hate seeing traffic get backed up because there's some piece of shit that's got a big rig driving job, and he's currently trying to figure out how to negotiate a passage from I-37 to 1604, the exterior loop around San Antonio. He's driving a fucking windmill. And there's 4 more trucks
Oh
all over
no!
garbage, which will never pay off.
How
It'll
the
never be a green movement because it requires so much petroleum to operate. It's garbage product, and it's a perfect government project because you can't shut it down, you can't stop it. Once you put it in place, it's got to be maintained all the time. It's got to be it's got to be moving. It's got to be doing this, that, and the other. It's a waste of fucking money, like any other government program, and it completely falls deep as the most absolute worst return on your dollar.
Yep.
The only person that may ever see actual money is the poor piece of shit farmer that signed on the dotted line to allow this company to lease it, to plant it on his fucking land, and he might actually get some juice out of it. The rest of us will not. It will never pay for itself. It will never become solvent. It is a government project from hell. And it's so fucking terrible that we can't get rid of these things nationwide. I want thorium. I want uranium. I want fucking clean nuclear power so badly. But these goddamn hippies from the fucking 60s and 70s that smoked a lot of bud over in Vietnam, and they came over here and they saw the movie The China Syndrome, and now they're all scared that it could happen here. 3 Mile Island. 3 Mile Island. Oh, God, it sucks. Winky, I drive a stick shift every day. Fuck you. And the thing is that these faggots won't let us have clean nuclear power. might as well be
That's,
France.
but that's what I'm saying.
California
If we put
closed all their nuclear plants. They
if
don't
we
have.
if we do a national emergency like he should do it, we just make it done. How'd you say it? We have nuclear powered vessels. If we basically convert all of the bases to nuclear powered plants, put those all there, have the Navy in charge, get it all set up, do it that way. You have power set up. Boom. Open up Anwar, open up the drilling, get that done. And again, you have to remember, petroleum products is not fossil fuel. That's the biggest lie in the fucking thing. It's not fossil fuel.
Also,
Petroleum is organic. It's just it's organic matter, and we utilize 100% of that. We don't waste a damn thing. We do. You can make medications from petroleum products, clothing, plastics. It's all from there, and energy. It's a very useful thing, you know.
yeah,
So
all those
this is no
wind
bullshit.
turbines that you see miles and miles of, they're all made from petroleum.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to have oil to keep them oiled up to keep them working. And
Did you
it's
see that they have some charging stations for electric, for green energy, that are being powered by diesel engines?
yeah, I know I've seen that. But let me get back to finishing the rest of this
Shit show.
interview real quick.
So let me kind of reiterate everything you've told me here, because this is like an unbelievably troubling picture, right? You're saying there's no spot checks. People who could do spot checks feel like they could be arrested, and they very much could. I didn't even talk about how they're incentivized to give a perfect stamp of approval if they're there, right? Because then they know they won't have any problems, right? So there's the whole that dimension. 80 to 98% of material is being sourced from there. Some components being sourced from there. Nefarious intent. Fentanyl, which I and many others argue is actually a weapon of war from the perspective of the Chinese regime. So, I mean, this isn't just a commercial issue, not by a long shot, I think.
No, I agree with that. And I will call it for the first time. And I believe that we will be seeing nefarious activity in our legal medicine supply chain that will be very difficult to detect. And you could take down America without firing a shot. You don't need any expensive missiles. You could debilitate the population and leave the infrastructure intact. Mm-hmm. If we don't fix this, and we can fix it if we want, I predict that that's where we'll be. And this is a perfect crime. You can harm people, even kill them. But how do you detect it? It's very hard to detect when you put chemicals in and these medicines are taken by people with different chronic illnesses. And there's already so much noise out there.
So much complexity in the system, all these
Correct.
different manufacturers.
Correct. And you know how the contaminated heparin was discovered? It wasn't by the FDA. It was by a nurse in a dialysis unit at a children's hospital in St. Louis. There were 2 kids on dialysis, and they were given heparin, and they got into trouble. It turned out fine for them. But it kept happening over subsequent weeks, despite their best efforts. Is it the water supply? What is it? Is it the air? And that's when the CDC and FDA were called in. But the signaling came from people on the ground, people taking care of patients. We have lots of carcinogens in a blood pressure medicine. The recalls I mentioned in 2018, it was 3 months after China RX came out, it was like on cue. That was going on for 6 years before it was detected and was found by a company that eventually that information got to the FDA. So we're so behind the 8 ball in terms of protecting this medical supply. Is an open season for anybody who wants to attack us.
Pretty scary if you think about it. I mean, if we don't start paying more attention to where our medicine comes from.
Yeah,
And
but
other,
this, I got, sorry, excuse
a
me.
while back, we had a problem because a bunch of cats and dogs were getting sick from food they were getting from China.
Yep, yep,
I'm
yep.
just saying, I've brought this up many, many times that we have got to be stricter when it comes to these other companies. If you opened a little cafe or a little store and you're grinding up your own meat or whatever, and you were making fresh cat food or dog food, and dogs and cats started getting sick, you don't think that they would be instantly at your place and fining you and
Right.
having all these people come in to find out what you were doing to kill the dogs and the cats? Okay, but when it
They're
comes to
killing the cats. They're killing the dogs. It's
but
all
when it
just
comes to
me,
you and I having
China.
surgery and our kids having surgery at heart hospitals and things like that, they don't give a shit. You see,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense that they're not stricter on some of this crap,
Right.
because they should be. But I just wanted to share that. I'm going to put it in the chat so anyone who wants to go
Yeah. That's
share
interesting.
that whole thing can.
Oh,
You go
tired.
ahead. I'm sorry if I interrupted you when what you were trying to say, but I felt like if I didn't
No, no,
interrupt.
no, 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 no. My concern, or my whole thing that we needed to do, and I think I got to do it again I'm getting my life in order right now. But there is compounding pharmacies. If you don't know if you've heard about them, what they do is that they'll make medication specifically for you, and it is expensive. But again, if we start manufacturing stuff here, we can tailor make medication for people. We should be doing that now. It's like, we have the ability now, and the technology and the know-how
Mhm.
here. We have Americans. People. Here's the bottom line: there are still people in the world today that are dying to come here for a new opportunity, for a better America, for a better world for themselves and their family. Some
Yeah.
do it illegally, some do it legally, whatever. But the idea that people are craving to come here still, despite what people are saying, we're racist, we're this, we're that, it still gives us hope. We have to look at that thing, and that's why that's how we have to maintain ourselves to do that. But again, compounding pharmacy is very good. When you have Mother Jones and Epic Times doing this reveal, we know this already. But again, the fact that it's being saturated with TikTok and all the other bullshit's going on here that cause a lot of problems, we have to start to act now. So I'm going to do something on my own once I get this medical issue with my brother out of the way, and when I'm helping with Danelle and all that stuff going around, it's just crazy. But again, the purpose is we have to start doing things, because again, we won the election, and it's us starting now taking care of ourselves, our family, our communities, and where we will live, and making sure better lives are for each other. So important.
Yeah. So I'm trying to copy this and paste it because I don't know how I lost it. Somehow I got rid of it, but I'm gonna get it back up if I can. Hold on. Oh,
Sorry about
can't
that.
find anything. Sorry, but yeah. To me, it's all of this stuff is just ridiculous, and we need to start clamping down on some of these companies. But here is another thing that I thought was pretty important.
One thing people don't know is before he
Whoops, let me make it bigger. Listen to this.
One thing people don't know is before he said fight, 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 I could see him. He says USA twice. He's still on the ground. And then I see him turn and get up and say fight, fight, fight. Wow. And so we talked about that. And I said, why? And like you did. And he said, well, Selena, at that moment I wasn't Donald Trump. I was symbolic, even though I wasn't president yet. Again, I had once been president. I had an obligation to show that the country is strong, that we will not be defeated, and that we are resolute. I did not want to be the symbol of America being weak.
Jeez.
So first thing I think people should know is that he called me first thing in the morning the next day. And before I could even say hello, he said, Selena, are you okay? Is your daughter okay?
Isn't that crazy?
And I kind of swore at the president, and my mom's going to be mad when she reads this part. But I said, are you bleeping kidding me? You're the one that was shot, right? But it was just so stunned that was the first thing he was thinking of it, and it was dark 30 in the morning. Like it was really early in the morning.
See, that's the stuff that the news isn't going to tell you about what kind of person Trump is.
Right.
All these stories I'm starting to hear about. I don't remember what her name is. She was on a daytime talk show, and her husband used to be a football player or something. And
Hasselbeck?
no, Regis Philbert or whatever.
Oh,
Philby.
Kathy Gifford. Kathy Gifford.
Yeah, his wife had just had a baby, and she was getting death threats because she had a stalker, and her husband was in another state. And Trump said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." He went and he had his private jet and his security go pick her up and the baby and bring them and put him in this apartment that was where her husband was at. And he also left security until they could get their own security. Stuff like that. You don't hear shit like that. You don't hear them talking about it. All they want to do is, and he's done it for many people, black people, white people, Hispanic people. This is way before he was president. Okay.
Mhm.
And all the awards that he won and things like that. It just makes me sick to my stomach that a person, I don't care who they are, okay, that actually gives a crap and sits up there every night and tells the news, okay, and they think they're doing the right thing, but they'll take money or whatever else to lie to the public about whatever this is because they're afraid they're going to lose their job, or something. Where does anybody have any morals anymore? Doesn't anybody care about the truth? Look at me. I've done this show how many times, and I'm not even monetized. I got a teeny tiny channel, but YouTube has attacked me many times and taken me down for 2 weeks at a time. And for 2 weeks, I'm not getting any views at all added to my 365 days that you have to have 4,000 hours of view time. And every time that happens to me, I lose hundreds of hours and have to start over from scratch, basically.
Even if you
Only-
what about on these live streams and even on the shows, the Dungeons and Dragons, you still get lower? Okay.
Yeah. I've been taking videos and stuff. You don't get nothing. When you're locked down, you get nothing. You don't get any credit for anything you're doing. And the thing is, though, I'm still doing it.
Well,
Okay.
again,
I'm
if you
doing it and I don't make any money. And if somebody came to me and said, "We'll pay you $1 million, but this is the kind of stuff you got to say," I would say,
that's different. That's different. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I wouldn't do it.
Right. Yeah, you're not that kind of girl. You're going to do that.
Well, I know, but a lot of people are, and someone will stand up there and say that they're going to do this or going to do that, but Trump is doing it. See, there are people that have been offered this, that, and the other, and they've said, "Hell no! I care more about my country than I care about, I hate Orange Man bad." It's just, it's disgusting to me, and I just wish we could weed out all these people. I wish we could get rid of all the fake news and all the crap and
We
let
did.
come out.
We really, when you think about it, we really did because we just let them keep talking, and all that they do is just dig themselves a bigger hole. But everybody notices all the work they're doing with their own shovel. Everybody notices that, wow, Jim Acosta, you really suck as a reporter. You're only reporting the things that you personally believe in or that you feel should be given any noteworthy attention. And instead, because of your inability to properly look and judge your audience, instead you're trying to curate their information, and it directly affected you because you lost everything. You lost your job. You thought you had a podcast opportunity. Fuck, even Gavin Newsom can't figure out how to do a podcast, and he's trying to go at it from being I'm a centrist. Acosta's there, and he hasn't learned his lesson. He's not even trying to repent for being anti-American. Anti-Trump is what he would say, but he's really just being anti-American. So it's really impressive that we've got all of these people that can't figure it out, and they're the high actors in the news game. But yet, who's the ones that are actually making noise, making waves? Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, people on social media, YouTube, Twitter, uh, not Blue Sky.
But life has changed so much in the last 5 years. I think exponentially, and I think over the last year even more so.
Yeah,
Because I'm still like dumbfounded that it's like, was it today or yesterday? I was basically, someone said, "Oh, the next appointment is on April 17th," and I said, "Oh, next month?" And they said, "No, we're in April now." I went, "What?" It just blew my mind that we're already in
everything is
April.
going on right now
Very,
at
very
super
fast.
speed, and you're not even registering that. Hey, we're in April. We're almost halfway through April. We're one
We're
more week
halfway through
away.
2020s already, and it's
It
like
feels like
what
it.
the fuck? I just feel like, I don't know. But the point being here is, the Jim Acostas, the Colberts, whoever the hell, Olivers and all that stuff. People are still listening to this crap, but
Yeah, but they're not people that are like young. They're not going to be, you know, going into 35 to 40 age demographics. The people still listening to this are of AARP age or older. They were born and bred on this. They still would get the newspaper
correct,
if it
correct,
wasn't if it wasn't so fucking insanely priced.
right. But the thing is that the thing has changed because, again, it used to be, if you wanted something to know the truth, you went to like the New York Times, you went to ABC, NBC, CBS, blah blah blah. Now they're all lying to you. Every single one of them is lying
And
to
the
you.
bad thing is that everybody knows they're lying to you, and you don't even open up those apps on your phone.
But here is the rub. Remember, what did Kamala get? 60 million votes.
I don't
I don't
know.
remember.
I
But
don't worry. I didn't worry about
again,
the
the
research.
fact that she got 60 million is boggles the mind. I thought she wouldn't even get 30. The fact that she got 60 proves that there are a lot of
But
fucking idiots out
they're
there.
tallying the dead in Illinois in that number, so it's not really accurate.
Yeah,
No,
but
but I'm saying that there's
I don't
the
even
whole
look at that because I didn't believe any of them.
Yeah,
I
but the
figured
whole
it was
point was,
all scheming.
I have seen the anti-Trump algorithm, and
Yeah,
it is frightening. It is
yeah,
frightening.
it
They
is.
They
hate
are saying the
they
weirdest
hate
shit out
Trump.
there.
They hate Trump more than they care about our country.
No,
What's funny is
they're saying that we have to stand up against the Nazis. We have to stand up against the evil.
Yeah.
what's the funny part is that you
And I'm
have a
like, what are you
deal.
talking about? What evil?
The
What evil?
anti-fascist people that say they're anti-fascist, everything they do, if you look up fascism in the dictionary, everything they're doing is fascist. You
Yeah,
see,
But
they're
again,
doing exactly what the
but again,
Democrats are doing.
here's a question based on what you just said.
Mhm.
So then their argument is that reverse racism is okay because we did it to them. So in their mind, being a fascist is, we're just doing what they're doing. So
Mhm.
that's what their warped mind believes.
okay.
I know,
If
and it's scary.
So they're thinking fire. They're thinking fight fire with fire. They
Mhm.
think we're fascists and they're being the true fascists. It's a kind of paradox. They're doing something fascist to somebody they say is fascist, but they're not. But that's the whole Saul Lewinsky thing, the whole Karl
Mhm.
Marx thing, you know.
Yeah.
And again, they don't teach history, so they don't know about the red wave, the little red books, get rid of the four olds,
Mhm.
get rid of your old generation, which they're doing now. Because what's going to happen is that we're going to have a lot of these baby boomers die off, and millennials will come up and rise up, and the millennials don't give a shit about Gen X or anybody else. So they're going to be even worse. You have to be very, very careful. So this is where people have to rise up and be better for their families and stuff. Hold on.
Yeah.
Shit, no.
No, it's just
well,
really
it's really funny because right now they've got this thing going on where you have a little twink named Harry Sisson, and he's the loudest voice I'm seeing on Twitter that's anti-Trump, and he's doing everything he can to tell you that your guy Trump is bad and Trump this, Trump that, blah 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 blah. And it's the same message each and every day from that little twink. But lately, there's been some actual impressive numbers coming back, only from blue cities like Chicago, New York City, what was it, Atlanta, Georgia. You're not having big showings of numbers in like San Antonio or Dallas. There's no 20,000 people showing up at these other places to advocate for socialism from AOC or anything. But you
Mhm.
had four big showings in the last few days from Harry Sisson, the little twink that really just needs to make a ceiling pizza. And I will eat that till I die. And I just, I'm laughing the whole time because it's just like he's still screaming about the emperor's clothes, and the emperor, of course, has no clothes, and he was the guy, advocating for the old man who couldn't tell you what happened except for what was last time he ate ice cream.
Yeah.
But you got this entire group of people that they're out there talking about it. Well, what are these crowds? What are these crowds, Bruce? The crowds are nothing but fucking ancient, aging hippies and maybe minorities who are there on the Democrat tit. And that's all. That's
Yeah,
all
a
it is.
couple of the videos that I've played from Waters World, and he sends his little guy out. These people, half of them don't even know what they're protesting because
No, they
you
don't have a clue.
tell they're there because they're getting paid. And then you have one little mother hen that runs around and goes, "Don't talk to these people.
Right.
Don't talk to these people. Don't do
Yep.
that. No, we don't want you." And she makes all the noise so you can't hear.
Yeah,
what
it's
he's
the whole it's a whole who are the most insufferable?
and they're like standing
HOA lead managers,
They're
Karens.
standing there going, "Well, I didn't know that. What are you saying? That's what they act. They're shocked.
They don't know. They
When
don't
they're
know.
actually
They don't
given facts, and they don't know how to react because these people just sit in their apartments or whatever. They only listen to one little group of people, the ones that are giving them money or whatever, and that's all they know.
That's
See,
funny,
that's
Janet.
all they know.
We finally discussed that. It's funny that a lot of these protests are paid for
Mhm.
by strange and unusual foreign actors that have no vested interest in the United States except to see it collapse.
But what's
Yeah.
so funny or so chilling
Yeah.
is there is no media outrage regarding George Soros, what he does. But Elon Musk, evil. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
it's
What Elon Musk has
common
done
sense is a
with the
superpower.
rockets, with Starlink, with Tesla and humanity, he's done with the Neuralink and all this other stuff. And then George Soros is all dark money, and they say, no, that's good. We are living in clown world.
Yeah,
Welcome to the shit show.
they're
Welcome to the shit
brainwashed.
show. Yep.
But this next thing I thought was pretty interesting when I was listening to it because little by little, things are adding up, and we're finally starting to see things moving in the direction that we need. Because just like I've been saying, we need to have people. Some people has to be arrested or brought up on charges before 2026 election. Like going through the process
Right.
for people to pay for some of the crimes that we've seen unfold in the last 4, 5, 6 years, right? So some of the things that I'm going to play tonight are talking about different aspects of different crimes. So here we go. Here's one of them.
I'm going to turn to our next guest in a second, but a little breaking news. Senator Johnson, Senator Grassley just sent this to me a little bit ago while we're on air. It's a major development. You're taking a look at a letter right there that was just sent to the FBI Director Kash Patel and the Attorney General Pam Bondi. What does it say? It says that Congress has obtained evidence that shows that the Biden White House was directly involved in trying to help start Jack Smith's investigation on the January 6th probe against President Trump. Specifically, that the White House counsel's office secretly obtained President Trump's and Vice President Mike Pence's former phones and giving them to the prosecutors, basically sicking the Justice Department on his future competitor, his future rival in the 2024 election, so that they could look for dirt for possible crimes. There's a lot more coming in. There's a lot of other evidence as well of the White House involvement. Remember, 2 years ago, we were the first news agency, right here, Real America's Voice, Just the News, to report that a White House counsel was directly involved with this investigation. Now, more details, including imagine this, you're the Democrat president and you go get the old Republican's phone for your prior president and send it to the Justice Department. That's what Senators Johnson and Grassley were able to confirm tonight. It's in that letter. Keep an eye on justthenews.com. We're going to get you up to speed on that all throughout the night. A lot more developments.
Wow. See, it's finally starting to come out. But see, this is on Real American's Voice. Okay. Just the News, not noise. Okay. This was a different media outlet because you're still seeing the mainstream people, like CNN and NBC and all them not giving you any information. They just kind of like, they got blinders on. Oh, we can't look over there. Everyone look over here. Look over, they're trying to do misdirection. It's like a giant magic show or whatever. So to me, it's just pathetic. I mean, it's just sad to see that you can't get any truth out because there's no outlet that's willing to do it because they're afraid their boss might fire them. So who's paying all these news companies, like CNN and NBC and CBS and ABC and all these companies? Who's paying for all of it? Because they got to be a multi-billionaire, trillionaire. They have to be able to afford to keep all these.
You see all the money all the money that's going out from USID. Because again, the dollar is the currency of that's being used for everything nefarious, and it's all done through oil, through art. Us. We're the United States citizen is the largest slave class. We don't even know it. We're slaves. We don't even know we're slaves.
But earlier,
we have it so good. We have it so good. We don't even know it.
Yeah, you guys were talking about Grok, right? And stuff. Well, this was something I had pulled up because of when you mentioned Grok, it made me think about it. But it says this woman posted this, came across my timeline on X. It says, I'm going to read all of the Crossfire Hurricane documents, but I asked Grok to give it a scan and tell me which laws were broken and by whom. So listen, look at this. This is amazing. It says the campaign finance violations. Who? Because she's asking. DNC Clinton campaign, Perkins Cole lawyer Mark Elias. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. I mean, look, and who? Clintons. This is Grok giving you the answers from the documents that she asked it to give her the answers to. And look at all these people's names that are on here.
Yeah.
These are this is from official documents, not made up.
Yeah. You know what? Again, Crossfire Hurricane, they basically created the whole narrative that was false.
It's all
globally, it's a conspiracy. It's a global conspiracy, part of the deep state. So that's what it is.
I want to share the link to this. I'm going to put it in the chat for anyone who wants to go and look at this, or even, if you want, go ask Grok yourself.
Yeah, but what's so funny is when you think about it, when you go like 1963, what happened with JFK, and we found out recently, and the fact that no one gives a shit. We're the protests. We're the whole idea. Now let's disband the FBI, disband the CIA. Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing happened.
I know. So, I'm just hoping that we're going to, now I have been seeing a lot of people being arrested as basically, whatever you call it, something terrorists in the United States that have been.
But what they're doing here again,
stuff.
Again, but remember the narrative is they're picking up these terrorists. We know they're terrorists, but then the narrative that they are innocent people being detained and sent. Again, it's bullshit. It's just done. I'm done.
My heart pitter patter faster.
It is. It's pathetic and sad. But I'm watching our people. This new.
But what they're doing here, but I know, but what's even worse is that the algorithm on the left is pushing that narrative, like that whole guy that killed that kid that killed the other kid from telling him to move out of his chair, and he killed him. Just a Luigi thing.
$207,000 overnight, pretty much.
Yeah,
raised for his defense.
Yeah, because
he's black.
Yes, because again, it's the mentally disturbed white woman and the mentally disturbed liberal that are doing this shit. They really, really believe this crap.
Okay, well, one thing I want to bring up about that is what's sad about it is I watched a couple documentaries, and it was women that and white liberal women, just like you were saying, that would go to prisons and take books and magazines and food, candy and stuff, and go to the death row inmates. These people were killers and murderers. They killed kids, families, all kinds of people. And these women go there and they say, "Oh, these are good people. They can be saved." Blah blah blah. Well, then one of the stories was about this woman supposedly fell in love with one of these guys, and he supposedly fell in love with her. Well, when he gets out after he gets a new trial and everything, he gets out and he goes back to her place, and he killed her.
Yep.
So, and it's
I'm
happened
not
many times
surprised.
before. So, it's just, to me, it's just sad that these people do not, I don't know, they don't learn.
Yeah, but again, I truly think that there's something more insidious going on. And again, if you connect the dots or you start to see everything, how everything correlates to another, I said it before. If you take a stretch of the whole Batman '89 plot, how
Yeah.
do people get killed? It was a little bit of this, a little bit from there. So people
Mhm.
know, oh, it's not the red dye that's going to kill you. It's the red dye combined with this, combined with that. But it's all a narrative. There is a narrative of the world. We know the narrative. If you follow the narrative, you see the pathway and you see the connections where people get sick. Why are people so susceptible to, like, why is ADHD so prevalent, like Ritalin and all this stuff going on? Because again, it's in the schools, it's in everything going on. It's been
Mhm.
pushed. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I,
Just
I
thinking
want to
about it
know.
scares me.
I really want to know what happened. Why? What was it put in the vaccines to make it to where your kid can't enjoy a nice crunchy peanut butter and jelly sandwich? What the fuck? That was a staple. Gen X is reaching out here. We had that as a staple of growing up, and something happened, Monsanto or Montauk Island, who knows? But now we can't
But
give our
again,
kids peanut
it-
butter.
well, here's the thing. But again, that's the whole idea that they change things and manipulate things, and it's been proven that they're doing this over time, and it affects things.
Mhm.
But there is an insidious aspect of it. As people get healthier, they have to make them sicker. So then it's basically made fat bad and made sugar good, and then that's why people get fat. And then they blame you. Then they throw out a Zempic that's going to kill you and do all this other stuff. And then if you don't like the way you look, now you can do AI filters, or better yet, you can go to plastic surgery, all that bullshit, or whatever, and change your whole appearance.
Yeah. You can
Or
have ribs removed
or
to make you have a
or
waist.
if you don't even like being a woman anymore or being a man, you can change that. Again, they're pushing the medical industry further so they can do more experimentation. So that the whole idea, it's a boondoggle.
Mhm.
The doctors, the mangalas that want to say, oh, I want to experiment, I want to do this, so let's talk to the psychologists and the schools to make this happen.
Mhm.
And it's more mainstream than you think. I'll admit this. Like Pornhub and the porn sites, they now are catering half trans stuff.
That's pretty disgusting. I
and
mean, I
and
look at it. I got good radar. I can tell one of those Hishis from 70 paces. You get them like 4 feet away from a camera in 4K, and I'm like, oh, nope, nope, nope. That's got an Adam's apple. Nope, it's had the surgery. And they've been feminized in the face. You can tell, and it's always funny because they always try to be like, see, I can look pretty now, and it's like, Bob, we know you have a dick. We know it still gets hard in the morning. You're not a woman. Stop it. And it's just mental illness.
Yeah.
We got rid of the fucking the insane asylums, and I'm making a plea. I want them to come back. I want to make insane asylums great again, and I'd like to see America get behind that aspect
Well,
of
see, they
reality.
had to get rid of them because they wanted to send the money to other countries. So they had to say, well, keeping these people locked up is against their freedom, their rights. So they freed all that money that we were spending to help all these people that are now they're in the streets. They're when you drive by and you see this whole
Have
tent city. That's where they're at.
you been in my town lately, Janet?
Well, I've been seeing it on a lot of towns, lots of suburbs outside the cities, these tent cities and stuff. But
I,
I
I
wanted to, oh, go ahead.
I just keep hoping that we get some like nationwide Jack the Ripper to like start up, not go against the hookers,
Get one.
but go against the homeless,
Well,
because like
you always have a serial killer,
yeah,
that's active.
I love serial killers because even though they're just like a problem, like the targeted demographic, there's probably not all of them are angels. Just like I'm saying, like probably not all the homeless people are like good people. They just need treatment, blah, 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 blah. No, they're fucking homeless because they don't want to go to a home and have a program. They want to ignore that. They want to have drugs and alcohol. I want to have drugs and alcohol. Fuck you. I work for a living for far too long, and I want to do my thing.
That's why they don't do anything about it.
Yes.
Because they say, well, they want to drink, they want to smoke, and they want to.
I want to give them a Claymore.
So, but this is another thing I thought was interesting when it came across my timeline with what this gentleman wants to share with his viewers or whatever. But listen, go ahead and listen.
The Trump administration has officially cut the funding of a $769 million contract for the Acacia Center for Justice. What is that, you ask? It's a legal group that pushes for penalties against attorneys and judges who misgender illegal aliens. Think about that for one moment. Almost $750 million, the U.S. government, your taxes, have been given over to a freaking group that's going after lawyers and judges for misgendering illegals? You got to be kidding me. We're just flushing money down the toilet. No more. Trump's stopping it. Elon's stopping it. And it's a great day in America when that happens.
So we do have a lot of people that are speaking out about the waste. Okay. But look who it is. It's not on the news. It's on live streams like this one. On TikTok, on Instagram, on Snapchat.
Because we're tired of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Mac Beggs going over to some wrestling in a Texas tournament and winning the female division when I know the dude has good testosterone in his body because he used to have a functioning penis. And he won the fucking tournament for women's wrestling in IHSA 2 years in a row. That piece of shit. He was Leah Thomas before Leah Thomas became a thing.
Yeah. Well, here is another one I thought was pretty good. Another really good, interesting tidbit of information that a lot of people probably don't even know about because you're not going to hear it on. This is on CNN too. This one's pretty interesting. But I really like this guy. Every single time I've seen him, I've wanted to listen to him. This guy right here. So listen to this guy. I love him. I can't remember what his name is. Darn it.
Do you worry about China taking its own nuclear option of selling U.S. treasuries?
Go ahead. Listen, at the end of the day, the upper hand is the size of the economics. It's basically that. If people are unemployed by the hundreds of thousands in China, Xi's job is gone. We all know that. The upper hand is the larger economy. So, I don't want to talk about war here with bombs. Yeah. This is an economic war. And right now, I know who has the upper hand. I'm sorry. Money talks and BS walks. And that's what's going to happen here. We can have the rhetoric, but I just say screw around with this 25% stuff. 400% tariffs, shut down the markets. He gets on a plane, Geneva, Switzerland, let's talk. I'm just tired of the rolling theft. I'm just tired of it.
Do you worry about China taking?
So basically, you're starting to see more and more people that are speaking out saying that that what Trump is doing is actually going to work. Because if they want to make money, they have to deal with us. And if they're going to raise our tariffs and we're going to reciprocate it, that means they're going to get the same thing. And in our country. Now, honestly, if you have, let's say, whatever it is, a brush. Okay, you got a brush, right? And you got American-made one. So it's not really so cheap that if you brush your hair with it a couple times, it breaks. But if you buy one of those cheap dollar brushes that are made in China, after you've used it a few times, it starts to fall apart, right? Well, if you got two brushes laying on the counter, okay, at a store to buy, and you're like, okay, this brush that used to be $1 is now $3.25, and here is the American-made brush, $3.25. Which one do you think a customer is going to purchase?
Hmm.
I'm going to buy the one I know is made better if I'm going to pay the same price for it. So that right there, the little Dollar Trees and the Dollar Generals and stuff like that sell all this cheap plastic crap that comes in Walmart, that has a cheap section with all that shit. That sections are going to start taking a hit. Because if I'm going to buy something, I do it anyways. I try not to buy stuff that's, crap, because I don't want to have to go buy it again next week or the week after, unless I'm buying a bunch of crappy toys to give to a dog or something like that I don't really need, spend a lot of money on it. I can buy some stuffed animals or whatever, take to the animal shelter or whatever, like type of thing. I'm not going to spend top dollar on it. But when it comes to myself or for one of my kids, I'm going to buy them the best jacket or the best that I can afford. I'm not going to go cheap and buy it from China. And I try not to. If it's from Taiwan or if it's from India or Bangladesh or places like that, I'll pay a little more for it. I don't have a problem with that. And I haven't had any problem with some of their products being where I, use it a couple of times and now it's so cheap that it just falls apart on me as it is with China. So I don't have a problem with it. And to me, I can't, I'm just waiting to see what happens because I think they're going to be hurting way faster than we are.
I'm kind of curious about all this. I don't know if you guys heard or not, but there was an internet rumor a while back, maybe a week or two ago, where they were saying that Trump wanted to have everything destabilized. And if we could get 20% of the stock market to reset itself, it would cause the rest of the stock market to kind of settle in to a more accurate. It'd be more accurate with its actual holdings and value. Because right now everything's just so overpriced. There's no real value on anything. It's just completely out of anyone's paycheck or range to want to go buy stuff. Why do you want a house when you can rent? Why do you want to, buy this T-bone steak? There's spam available. And if we can get everything to reset itself, it'll cause a large destabilized amount of power to erupt from what was normally the elites, and that'll be kind of shaken up for a bit. And you could see the blue collar middle class people actually have the opportunity to make their retirement accounts grow again, and maybe some buy into the precious metals or build businesses. The economy will actually be more organic, is what the rumor was. And as much as that's a crazy idea, and there are people out there trying to state that won't work, I'm here for it. I want to see the globalists lose all their power. I want them to be completely impotent, as they are feckless. They're just throwing ideas from Marxism and erudite mentalities that have no bearing on a localized economy that we truly need. They have no real stake in this matter, but yet they still hold all the cards. I want to see them not have the cards anymore. I want to see those cards redistributed. I know that sounds socialist, but I just want I want the playing field to get level for a bit.
I think it is. I mean, I'm hearing every single day a different country contacting the president and his people saying, okay, I'm ready to bring this down or to do what we have to fix it. I'm ready to talk to you guys about it. So it is making a difference because we only have 360 something million people in our country. Yet we spend more money than most people than any other country on buying things for ourselves.
The power of the free market,
cars, all that stuff. And we go to the movies. We do a lot of things in our country compared to other countries. And I don't know if it's because we basically have more money. Okay. And when you got a homeless person that's got an iPhone, and they're on it, so they must have service. So they're homeless, yet they still have nice Nikes on, and they have an iPhone they're carrying around using. So, I don't know how many other countries where a homeless person that lives in the street basically is going to have a $1,000 phone and service on it. you know. So we are not as bad off as a lot of people might think. It may seem bad in our country, but in other countries where, your little kid is in the cobalt mines all day long for $1 or $2 a day, things like that.
All right.
We have it pretty good.
Well, I got to run.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Yes,
Be
guys.
careful,
Take care.
Thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate it.
Yes. But have a good day, and we'll talk to next week. Bye.
Okay. Bye. But yeah, so we'll have to just wait and see what happens. But I think we'll know a lot more by next week than we know now. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that it's going to take a little bit. But it's to me, it's funny to listen to all these people bitch and moan that we have people digging in and finding all this waste. It's like a person hires you to go to their house, okay, and redo their cabinets, reorganize their house to make it more efficient. Like I've done it a few times for people when when I was in a military wife at the time. I would do stuff for extra money, and I would go in, I'd reorganize their kitchen. Like they'd have their dishwasher over here, but all their silverware and their cups and stuff were like you had to walk over 3 or 4 feet to put that stuff away. And I just reorganized a couple of things to where you open the cabinets and they're right there and you just put the stuff right up. It was fast. You could load and unload the dishwasher quickly. Wow, what is that? A bat?
This is a succubus. It's one of the first miniatures that Reaper made, and they've started redoing a lot of their old molds and getting rid of mold lines and such. You still see like one mold line here, but this one here is one of their most iconic miniatures they ever did.
Yeah.
And so I recently got a lot of miniatures here. You might see some new minis here, but let me really show you the treasure I got today.
Oh.
And well, I'll never be done painting. Like my friend Makini is a great artist, but there is a whole bunch of miniatures I have in this box here because like there's 30 in this box here. I got these two.
What are they?
Miniatures, more of this.
What? Of what?
Fey, devils, demons.
Oh, okay.
Here's the Green Griffin in box.
Oh.
I haven't even opened these. Okay. And then I got the Denizens of the Dungeon. I bought about $1,000, maybe a little more than that, of miniatures. That way I wouldn't run out of figs to paint.
Yeah, those are really nice.
Yeah, I want to be busy. Even when I get my new home, when it's my time off, this is what I want to do. So, like, here's another box. This is the Tombs of Hakir. And then this is the core box. These 5 boxes have 30 figs each. That's 150 new figurines. And then the core box, this has 100 figures in it itself.
Yeah.
This is the core set. So, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, you're going to be busy for a while.
Let's fucking go.
That looks good. But
I got the King and Queen of Hell, and I haven't even unboxed them yet. I'll be working on them once I get some of these figures off. But I also got like another 20 figures, and you see like I got 6 of these ticks here. Let me throw the camera back the way it needs to be. But I've got 6 of these ticks, which I can't wait to put these in play because we have guys like 6 Nations, 31 Kings who are fucking arachnophobic as hell, and bugs just creep him the fuck out. I love bugs, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had bug collections when I was a kid. But I'm done with all the things that I brought up. So was there anything that you wanted to add before we talk about your what we're planning on doing tomorrow and on Sunday?
Well, tomorrow is the high level Pathfinder game that I've been running for the past 5 years. You, Chris, Connell, and Travis are going to be part of that. I believe the girl playing Helga has a new job, and she will not be part of this anymore, which sucks.
Yeah.
But Chris will be taking over for that. Also, if anybody in the chat has me on their Twitter and you want to play a barbarian and her thief companion, get in touch with me, because barbarians and thieves are pretty easy to play, and the game we play is high level. So I wouldn't throw this out to just anybody. But if you have experience in RP games, I'd be more than happy to discuss it, because I would like to have Chris not have to deal with 7-player character sheets all at once. The poor fucker. Yeah. Then Sunday, you and I are doing a wonderful stream on a movie called Hell Comes to Frogtown with Roddy Piper.
Never seen it, so I have no idea what it's about or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Now there is,
if I even can dress up or anything, because I have no idea anything about any of the characters.
There is some things I want to talk about before we end this.
Yeah,
we've been talking about the things you want to talk about.
Yeah, I put everything into the shit show chat, and anything that's in there we can talk about, or if you add anything to it, we can talk about it. Yeah. So because
let me throw this here into the private chat for us, because you've talked about a couple things, and like this is something that I feel like isn't being talked about enough. Okay. I'm going to throw a few more things in here as well, because and you're going to notice the sourcing of it is not like your regular Breitbart and such. No, I'm going to sources that are favorable to some of these stories here. But I think that it's important to get different perspectives on things, and I want to discuss this.
I'm going to present. Let me see. Let me get this. Share screen. And this is it. Yeah, company just released. Yeah, here we go.
Now that was back in 2021, but it's not the first time Bill Gates had released mosquitoes in front of an audience. He's done this a few times in his life, but there's 120.
Let me see if I can turn this off real quick. Hold on. Oh, there we go. All right.
So the biotech firm Oxitec went ahead with plans to release hundreds of millions of gene-altered mosquitoes in Florida to test an experimental new form of population control. They confirmed this in a press release. This is off of interestingengineering.com. Jan, if you want to copy that and put it in the general chat so everybody can check this for themselves. I want you to know things. So this is part of the partnership between the Florida Keys Mosquito Control District and Oxitec in a collaboration in 2018, and that could help greatly reduce populations of mosquito breed, which is responsible for spreading diseases like dengue and malaria. And they talked about this in a press statement, but he released these things with malaria.
Yeah.
Malaria. Now it's on an upswing nationwide. Anybody talking about this? Anybody at all? Needs to be talked about.
Not that I'm talking about. But the thing is, I read on there that it says that Bill Gates is involved in this, right? It says up at the top.
It's his biotech firm.
Yeah. Okay. That's not a good thing.
No.
But yeah. That's kind of spooky if you think about it.
It is. And he's done this on TED Talks at an audience with TED Talks before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a problem that I have with Bill Gates. He wants to talk about being into a pro-vaccine mentality, and if you're not going to take the vaccines or the jab, then they're going to put the jab in the food. So
I've seen that.
I'm not a very nice person to Bill Gates. I've said some things that would probably get me a couple satellites from the NSA, like, "What are you doing, Bruce?" But
well, here you go. Here's the other one.
Yep, this is off the Daily Signal. And the Daily Signal is kind of interesting because it's not really a quote-unquote right-wing site. But the Federal Election Commission They look at this loudmouth twat out of Dallas, Texas. She's actually from St. Louis, Missouri. She went to a very nice school. She's spoken very well before she hit her fame by being a slag and less than a civil person. But now she was calling in the last couple of weeks for Elon Musk to get ruined. She wants every Tesla burned to the ground and the factories to be just rubble. And so the FEC is now opening up the donations to her 2024 campaign made through ActBlue, a Democrat fundraising powerhouse organization. The Coolidge Reagan Foundation, a conservative advocacy group, made the FEC complaint on March 26, as first reported by Daily Signal. And they notified Coolidge Reagan Foundation it would review the matter on April 2nd, and they would notify Ms. Crockett. So the respondents are notified of the complaint within 5 business days, says Wanda Brown, FEC Assistant General Counsel for Complaints, Examination, and Legal Administration. It says this in the letter. You'll be notified as soon as the FEC takes final action on client complaint. So they wrote about this, and Brown wrote it in a letter to Dan Becker. He's a Washington lawyer representing the Coolidge Reagan Foundation. And there's 53 separate donations totaling $595 to her campaign through the ActBlue portal. Suspect donor is a 73-year-old Texas resident named Randy Best. Best's wife, in a video promoted by one of Crockett's opponents, Sholin Daniels, he denied knowing anything about the donations. She denies everything. I have no clue, she says. And she contends it means that Best and other donors through ActBlue did not make donations listed under the names. So she's got, according to a Twitter from TonyX2, she received 16,000 political contributions from an elderly retired couple. And so Daniels, who's running against her, went to their house to confirm the contributions. They had no idea what the charges were. So this is kind of interesting. And what's ActBlue doing? How are they getting a hold of people's private bank accounts? So in a wider picture, Crockett's campaign receives almost $880,000 in total donations through ActBlue. $870,000 so far, but they're still tallying this stuff up. And the FEC complaint from Coolidge Reagan Foundation, it includes the $595 recorded from Best, who lives in Plano. Now, this lady is a representative out of North Texas. We don't really claim her. We know she's a slag from St. Louis.
Yeah.
They've got all this crap from ActBlue, which is a money laundering group from what we're seeing. And it's unclear how many of these are similarly fraudulent transactions made in the name of unsuspecting innocent people who did not actually provide the funds. Now, I wonder if some of these funds that were directed there were possibly from elderly individuals that have recently lost their Social Security checks coming in on a monthly basis because they're over 120 years old. I'm just kind of curious. So next step is for respondent Ms. Crockett to have 2 weeks, 15 days to respond to the allegations, and they grant extensions of 30 and 60 days, says her attorney, Mr. Backer.
Yeah.
She's not alone in Democrats getting donations through the ActBlue portal. Republican state attorney generals, as well as the GOP-controlled House Oversight and Accountability Committee, opened an investigation into ActBlue's fundraising practices. 10-1 says nothing will happen from that investigation. But ActBlue has said consistently it follows the law and attacks are partisan. The Daily Signal reached out to Crockett's congressional office and Crockett's campaign and to ActBlue with email inquiries, and none responded. It went to their spam folder to be flushed. The FEC spokesperson told the Daily Signal the agency cannot comment on a pending case until the matter is resolved. It could be a reasonable defense for Ms. Crockett and other Democrats to say we did not solicit these donations. They all came in from ActBlue, Backer says in an interview, and that would be willful blindness. The problem is legally the campaign committee treasurer is responsible for due diligence. The treasurer could say we had absolute confidence in ActBlue, but ActBlue has been under investigation by state and federal authorities. This excuse might have worked a year ago when there was a different set of heads within the working administration. That's off of dailysignal.com. A little bit of other information from the Post Millennial doesn't really go into a whole lot of differences with this. They discussed the same thing about Sholin Daniels going after $595 donations after, with a 73-year-old retired couple. And that's all the post-millennial really reports. The FEC information off the Daily Signal seems to be very accurate. So I'm pretty happy that actually is good for once. The other Crockett in Congress was a lot better than this one. Yeah, the other
And
Crockett.
this is the other one that you asked me to bring up is what you need to know about the SAVE Act.
Say again?
You see that? What you need to know
the
about
SAVE
the SAVE
Act. Okay, so the SAVE Act. This is this is campaignlegal.org. This is an NGO, so more than likely they're left of center. Okay, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act could silence millions of voters by creating new barriers to voter registration that make it harder for Americans to make their voices heard. And so they talk about the documentation barriers and how the SAVE Act imposes unnecessary barriers to registration, so voters have to provide documentation that a lot of people don't have. More than 21 million Americans are unable to access additional documents that would be required to be used. People of color, married people who have changed their names, as well as young and elderly people are more likely to have difficulty in accessing things like a birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the main thing. They can't be able to register their vote with their driver's license alone, except using an enhanced driver's license, which are only available in 5 states. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The enhanced states are Minnesota, Michigan, New York, Vermont, and Washington. I think that's facetious. Let me look at that. But I know Texas we have a passport breaker on
Yeah,
our
see, that's what we have.
driver's license. We have the gold star. Yeah. So anyway, anytime you update your registration, make it a change address or political party, the SAFE Act is an evil thing according to these people. And this is, for those left of center. In 2022, more than 7 million Americans registered to vote by mail. And now it threatens mail registrations and requires online registration systems to be overhauled to fit the bill's steep requirements. Millions of Americans rely on the options to make their voices heard. So they're doing this because, how dare you take away this automatic 30% of the population voting for blue, no matter what, vote blue no matter who. And it's great whenever they just it's voting day and I press a button and 40 million Americans vote automatically just down the line for Democrats. And this would stop that. How dare we? And
it's sad that that so many people can just walk over the border and not have money or anything and just be handed so much when we have veterans that need help and stuff like that. But now we're realizing that these people were basically invited here knowing they were going to get free stuff, and a lot of them are self-deporting back to their country they came from now that Trump is in office, because they know that the free handouts is gone, basically. But now the criminals, they're the ones that are having to be arrested and deported because they don't want to give up the not just the free stuff, but the criminal empire. Sorry, I'm yawning. Criminal empire that they've inherited. You know what I mean? Like what we were hearing in Colorado about all those apartment complexes, that were just overrun with these gang members, and real people that are normal people that live there, they're stuck. They can't even leave their apartments because they'll be robbed or they're beat up or attacked or whatever. How horrible it must be to live that way, and then have a person running your state that doesn't give a crap about the people that actually paid taxes their whole lives. They only care about the ones that just wandered over here and were getting their free shit. It's disgusting. I just don't, and none of it makes any sense because I have common sense. I understand, and that's why it doesn't balance out. It's like, I should be wearing a cape. You know what I mean? Anyone with common sense should be handed a cape saying it's superpower, because that's how I look at it now, because when you look around and you're going, what the fuck is going on? You don't know what to think about it. You don't know how to absorb the information because it's shockingly ridiculous and stupid. It doesn't even make sense to kids that are in elementary school. I mean, that's how dumb it is. But yet our people that are voted in that supposedly are smart, they think that they want to keep doing it. I don't know. It's just so pathetic where we are on a lot of these issues because we're trapped. And thank God for you know Elon Musk's idea about going in and using a bunch of his employees that are super geniuses, basically, and they have different jobs, can go in and see all this corruption and share it so that our president and other people, Congress or whatever, can make some changes. But to me, it's very simple. You just get everybody in Congress to go and vote to defund USAID. It's defunded. They have no more money. And then close the agency. There's no reason for it. But I want to keep Doge. I think we should have a group of people that's all they do. And they enjoy it. They enjoy going through all this and finding all this ridiculous, stupid shit.
What I find hilarious is that none of those guys are being paid. Doge employees are
no,
not
they're being
really
paid
employees.
for by Elon Musk.
They're not on the U.S. payroll.
No, I know, but I mean, they want to start a permanent Doge period. So once they do that and they hire people, but what I would do if it was me, if I had any say, what I think would be common sense wise is to have a Doge in every state. Okay. And then you have one person for the government that's in contact with all of the states of different things that's going on from the federal government part to each of the states to make sure that, the federal money is not being wasted. And if, let's say, you have a group of people in, let's say, Florida that think the federal government should help them pay for a new turtle tunnel, that goes under a bridge where turtles won't cross the street because they'll use a tunnel and just swim across underneath. Like a turtle smart enough to know, hey, there's a tunnel over here. Let's use that and not walk over there. I don't know. It's just all of it stuff is so stupid.
Funny.
It is, and it's scary and pathetic and sad. But it is. What time is it now? It's 11 o'clock at night. No wonder I'm so tired. I've been up since 4. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that hanging out with us tonight, and I hope we gave you some information you probably didn't know about yet. And I did share the links, so if you do come back, you can get the links out of the chat and bookmark them, check them out, go read it when you have a chance, and share it with other people, because there's so many people that don't know anything about this stuff. I mean, I talk to my sisters and they're like, I never heard of that. It's like, but just because I am on X and I get information quickly doesn't mean other people are on it. You know what I mean? And I really do get a lot of news from X. Half my news that I find out about anything comes from people sharing it with me on X. And it's faster. I'm telling you, I find out stuff on X like that compared to what I hear it on TV.
What's the Doge Money Tracker up to now? Do you know?
No, I'd have to go to the website real quick. Let me go look in real quick, and I will look on my X real quick and see, because I'm following Doge, and maybe I can find out what their total is. So hold on. Yeah, here it is, the government website. Let's see if there's anything on here. I'm going down the list. No, all I'm seeing is individual things that they found. I haven't seen something where it says a total.
It should be right there at the top.
Okay, well, it's not, but there's one here. It says contract update. In the last 2 days, agencies determined 108 wasteful contracts with a ceiling value of 20 or 205 million, savings of 70 million, including 14,000 government contracts for executive transformational leadership training program. And then they got some pictures and stuff. But no, I don't see anything at the very top. Do you?
I'm sharing it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I got to go. I'm still on their page. How did you find it? I couldn't find it. Where did you find it at?
I went to Doge Money, and then
You didn't go to, it wasn't on X?
No, took me to Doge-tracker.com.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to do that myself. Wow, that's a lot.
$150 billion is what they're saving. They're 7.5% to the $2 trillion goal. We have 448 days remaining of this push.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like
these are implemented. What does that mean?
In green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, light blue, light green, like Illinois, Kentucky. It's in review. They haven't had anybody deny it yet. That's interesting because I'm expecting Maine and Vermont to be like, "Fuck you." That's what I expect.
Oh, you're talking about Doge going to these states?
Yeah, Doge going to the states.
Okay.
Texas and Illinois are on the same page for once.
Can you share the link so I can put it in the chat?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to do that for you.
Share the link in the chat for people.
Yeah.
Because everyone, you guys need to bookmark this website. This is showing you every single day they're adding to it. Look at up here on this list: Department of Health and Human Services,
$46 billion.
Yeah.
USAID, $41 billion. Department of State, $4.33 billion. Department of Education, $1.15 billion.
And see, people look at this just like me, because I'm just a normal person. But when I look at it and it says $1 billion, I can't really comprehend how much money that is. So it's almost like it's a show, that it's not real.
Yeah.
Because you can't comprehend it. I mean, it took me forever to get millions down, and now we're in the trillions and the billions. It's shocking. It's shocking.
So they give you all the information on the Doge-tracker.com, and like yesterday was a banner day. They went into the DHHS, and this is the department that used to have the ugly FEMA thing, whatever it is. The Rachel Levine. Remember that? I sure as shit do. Why? Because she impersonated an admiral, and nobody fucking got her over the coals for that. I wanted that to happen. I wanted somebody to rip her out of that uniform.
Diaper to drive across the United States to kill somebody?
What?
Is she the one that wore the diaper that drove across the country?
No, that's an astronaut. Rachel Levine is a former head of Human Health and Services. That is a dude that dresses up like a woman, and he wore an ad.
Okay, I knew that sounded familiar, but I couldn't remember. And what's funny is I was trying to find that video of Obama during his term when he's saying, we started Doge and I'm putting Biden in charge. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, well, the thing is, I was going to show that because when they put him in charge, that's when who knows?
You know it wasn't going to happen.
How much money he was able to finagle out of that and put it in his own bank account because he was in charge of it.
10% for the big guy. Come on, Janet. You know the rule.
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, all of them.
I can't stand. The tree of liberty is gratuitously underwatered, and I can't wait for that to be amended. Let's see. Bing. Obama nominated Biden to fix government spending. Let's see what Bing throws at me. Huh.
You find it?
I got something. It's funny because
I really keep my eyes open.
Okay. This isn't that important. This is not that important.
But did you share that in the chat? the link?
I'll throw this out there. This is off a Newsweek.com copy
No, the
information.
link for the government website.
I did.
Okay, so to make sure, because I want people to
It's
be
in
able
a
to.
private chat. It's not
Yeah.
in the regular chat.
Okay, I thought you put it in the regular chat, but it's all
I'm
right.
not allowed to. You won't let me.
How do I do that?
It'll be through mods, the settings.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me
I have
do
no
that.
idea. I forgot about StreamYards, but I'm
I
gonna.
don't know how to. I don't know how to do that. But let's see. Let me find you, and then I click on you. No, that starred you. I don't know how to do it either. I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
Go to private chat. Control C that entire link, and then you can throw it in the primary.
Is that the very bottom? The Obama Clinton thing?
Yeah.
No, Doge tracker. Let me get that first. Oh, fart. Oh. Okay, I'm trying to copy link. All right, now I have that one. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Paste. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back again. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out how to do this stuff. All right, I'm gonna copy this second one and put it in the chat too. So they're both in there. Awesome. I think I figured it out. But yeah, thank you very much for helping me, Bruce. I appreciate
I'm
it.
sorry I couldn't help you further, but you're not exactly my neighbor. You're
I don't know how to how come
it's okay.
it says you have a wrench by you?
I have a wrench. I can't post things. I can't post links. It says new. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
Oh, I guess it's the same as what is on yours. When I'm on yours, I can't have to go to my own phone, and be able to talk to people in the chat.
No, this is StreamYard. I can talk to people without opening YouTube.
I don't understand.
We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about it today. I want you to go get some sleep so you can play with us tomorrow and not fall asleep on me.
Okay, I'll try to. Oh, and tomorrow at 3, I'm going to open my phone to a space for the gentleman that passed away. His wife is going to be on there, and she's going to, I want to be supportive and have him see my face there. So I'm going to get on my phone and log in on that, even though I'm playing. So I'm just letting you know, because at 3:00 for that, because it's important that we all support him and let his wife see that we're all in there. I think it'll make her feel good. But I want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with us tonight. And we have 85 people watching right now, which is great. But you guys have a great weekend, and hopefully tomorrow morning will be a wonderful day, and you guys can have some fun. But talk to you guys later.
Be good, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will Make America great again.